Hello and welcome to The Point of Everything. Episode 355 is an interview with Laois-born London-based artist Kean Kavanagh, who released his debut album The County Star via Heaven Sent on June 6th. You might have heard myself and Kira raving about the record already on TPOE 354 last week. I called it one of the best Irish albums of the year so far, so I'm delighted to have Kean talk through it today. Kean has been making music for years and released his debut project Dog Person, which I absolutely loved back in 2020. He's a co-founder of Softboy Records, home to Kojaque, who makes the visuals for Kean. His triptych of videos for the County Star, they're called Whistle, Father Brown's and A Cowboy Song, star comedian Peter McGann, and are just great, and you can view them all on YouTube, which I would highly recommend. Myself and Kean talked about Dog Person on TPOE 192 back in February 2021. If you want to go back into the TPOE archives and listen to that one, I mentioned it once or twice in the interview coming up, just FYI. Kean was actually born in Texas before moving to Laois as a youngster, which is the impetus behind the idea of the County Star. You'll hear him talk about how vocal injury back in 2022 almost took him out of the game completely and how vocal therapy helped him get back to himself. We talk about the role community, traditional Irish music and GAA play in his music, how living in London sharpens his connection to home, and why he wanted the County Star to feel like a full cinematic experience visually and sonically. He talks lyrics, collaboration, culture and identity. You can buy the County Star at heavensent.ochre.store, O-C-H-R-E for ochre. There's a link in the podcast bio for that if you're looking. Here's Kean Kavanagh talking to County Star on The Point of Everything. Okay, so I always thought that Dog Person was your debut album. That came out in 2020. I loved that album. I thought it was one of the best of the year. And now I see that you're calling The County Star your debut album. It's like, what's happened? Was Dog Person always just kind of a debut project, I guess, for you? Kind of like how Delhi Daydreams is for Kojaque, kind of dipping the toes in the water.
Yeah, well, even the design of the album cover is like literally like a tape, like a cassette tape. So yeah, it was kind of a just like a project or a mixtape, but it never really felt like a full album to me anyway. It was more that it was I found myself with having about like 10 different songs or pieces or whatever, and I was like I wanted to put something out together and have a bit of a there was a loose concept to Dog Person, I'd say, but then with this album, like, I think just the intentions are different, like this album came from me being like, okay, I'm making an album beginning now, and here's what the name of the album is, and so everything came from that intention. So, and it just feels like a real album to me anyway. Yeah, I stand over it as album number one, kind of.
We talked back at the start of 2021. I listened back to that interview. I always remember it kind of being like, you're a little down, I think. I think everybody in Ireland was a bit down just because we were back in that lockdown at the start of 2021. I don't know if you remember, but I think the
Yeah.
weather was bad as well. I think like all of the elements were against us that day. Does the County Star kind of begin in 2021? Is it kind of a 4-year project? Did you recalibrate at the start of that year and think what you wanted to do next?
No, I wouldn't say so. Like, some of the songs are from, I think, like Melton and 45s, that are two of the songs off it. Like, I've been playing them with the band since probably like 2018 or something like that. So they're they're really old ones that I was always saving, and I was like, I was kind of waiting to the right time to kind of record them the way I want to record them and fit them with another group of songs in the right kind of way. But I think after Dog Person, I don't know if I knew what I was doing after that. No, I think I really started getting into this album after I finished my last EP, like wrestling music, which was that was just kind of me. I was just like, I need to just do something to like, I just need to, like in basketball. I don't know if you're into basketball at all,
Yeah.
but you need to like, you have to get like a rhythm going, and you just need to like kind of get the hand hot, and just that was like album or that EP was just like getting a rhythm going in terms of just like finishing a collection of songs and just just kind of getting moving and trying to get the hot hand for and then that just got me in a rhythm for like moving from that straight into like all of these tunes. So it's really been this album has just been kind of like the last year and a half of work, I'd say, then kind of putting it together. But there's obviously old stuff that kind of took forever to work its way in.
And so does it feel different to Dog Person? It feels like a full project, like 18 months of work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's what I'm saying just about the intention. Even the fact of having these old songs that I had saved, and I put all the best kind of work that I have into this. So, um, it's yeah, I'm happy with it.
Let's kind of go in a little bit of order since our last talk. I was reading your interview with Wonderland, which was really, really good, really informative. You said that in May 2022, I suffered some sort of vocal injury while on tour with Kojaque that left me unable to sing with any real ability for a year. That must be crazy for like a singer, a songwriter to have a vocal injury. Do you know what it was? Do you know what happened?
Uh, not exactly. No. I have a song called "The Magic," which is all the lyrics are kind of specifically about that. But I just kind of collapsed basically after a night out, and when I kind of came to, my voice was just gone, and I kept expecting to get better, and it just didn't. And yeah,
What do you
so
mean gone? Was it like was it just hoarse or something after like a couple of drinks or something or
just like there was like it's hard to explain. It was like if I tried to, the way if you go like ooh, and you can go up and down. There was just a really low plateau over which I just couldn't raise my voice in terms of like pitch or whatever. So it was it was really terrible, and yeah, it was just so sad because it's like you don't. I think even aside from whether you're a singer, well, probably not aside from it, but like I was so frustrated. Like I wanted to scream. I wanted to just scream to like let out how frustrated I was, and I couldn't scream because my voice literally couldn't like scream. So it was like there was no vent for the frustration for like about a year, which was really hard. And I kind of coming out of that, I think is when I made like the wrestling music stuff. Um, and I was just trying to as I say, I was trying to get in a rhythm. I was trying to like just get back the ability to be able to sing well enough to like record on songs and stuff. But it was very, I don't know, I felt very like stunted at the time because I was just like, I had stuff that I wanted to record and all, but I just didn't have the physical kind of ability to do it. So
so what did you do? How did you get over it? And were you still making music while you weren't able to sing?
yeah, yeah, like I was still writing, and I was still like making instrumentals and stuff. But I did a load of vocal therapy stuff, and some of it helped, and some of it like not so much. Um,
What kind of vocal therapy is it? I'm just trying to think of what you would do. Is it just like going through the ranges? Is it do re mi fa so?
yes, the stuff like that, and stuff like that. And I was getting like laryngeal massages where they like massage your like larynx, from the outside, and try to loosen up tension in your neck and stuff like that. So just I was trying anything I could really. It kind of just started eventually just getting a little. I just started bit by bit getting back like a little bit of ability, kind of piece by piece. But it did change my voice a lot. It's I can't sing like super, in the falsetto. Like I have a very like limited range kind of now. But I learned to kind of work with what I had, or what I have now.
So just saying, like, you perform a gig, you're playing for like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, or an hour, or whatever it is. At the end, are you like feeling your voice? Is it kind of like, ooh, it's a bit strained after just an hour of work, or is it okay?
No, it's pretty good now. Yeah, it's pretty decent these days.
That's good. Man,
Yeah,
that's so strange, like not having a full answer for what actually happened.
I know. I went to, and like I had moved over to London at this stage, so I was trying to like get in through the NHS to be seen to like um to get an MRI or however it is that they like look at your throat. But it just the whole thing took forever. I'm glad that it's hopefully behind me now.
Fingers crossed. You also talked with Wonderland about what I think you were just talking about with me, just talking about writing that song, The Magic, that appears on the Wrestling Music EP. You said that yourself, Karma Kid, and Baz Kaye went on a writing trip to Peter Bryan's house in Belfast, and that's where the team behind the music really crystallised and the foundations for this album were built. Were you kind of searching for the idea for what you wanted the album to be? Did it take a while to figure out what it was going to be?
No, like I before we went on that trip, like I we had a group chat and I texted in like, here's the title of the album. This is what I want to talk about, and this is like the kind of the sonic elements that like I want to um that I want to have in the album as well. Like maybe I had some of the songs kind of started, but I just thought that the title, the County Star, would just kind of perfectly uh, encapsulate my life, or an imagination of my life anyway, or my kind of upbringing or whatever. And I think through that name, like kind of bringing in like Irish and American kind of sonics and stuff. It just I thought I was really solid on the idea, and then the lads kind of, being able to read that, the lads can say, cool, I've got some ideas on that, and then we just started like writing just basically just, sitting around the room, everyone playing a different random instrument, and then coming up with the music. And I think we did maybe there was a lot of songs wrote in that week. So some of them didn't make it onto this album, might make it onto the next one. But after that week, we were just like, right, we have great momentum here now, so it should be no bother finishing the rest of this.
Are those the guys in the band? Karma Kid, Baz Kaye, Peter Bryan?
Pete is, but Sam and Baz are my two English friends over here in London, and they're just amazing producers. I have the rest of my band are not them; they're other people.
You said that Karma Kid encouraged you to be a bit more personal with what you wrote about as well. Was that something that you maybe tried to avoid with Dog Person?
I was writing about real things on that, or stuff that I was experiencing, but I think maybe what I was lacking was kind of maybe detail, or a sense of place, maybe. Just in terms of the writing, I'm just being a little bit more specific, I think, on these songs.
Is it hard to get into that mindset of intentionally writing personal stuff and like putting yourself out there on display, whereas maybe you weren't doing so as much before. Is there a kind of a defense mechanism there that you're like, oh, I just have to let it go and I have to be okay with putting myself out there?
Definitely, yeah. Like when Sam suggested like writing a song about losing my voice or whatever, I just thought that that sounded like nothing I would ever be interested in doing, or like I rejected the idea to him like immediately, and it was only after a few weeks later that I it just kind of stayed in my head. I think it doesn't really matter what you're writing about as long as it's good, and it just so happened that what I ended up writing about, say with the losing voice, in the end, what came out, I was like, this feels really good to me. So I don't think it would matter if I'm writing about something personal or impersonal or invented or factual if it wasn't like good. I think what matters is it good writing or not. And yeah, just with the kind of concept of this album, it kind of had to be more personal because that's how the story was going to get told, or that's how it's just you know, I'm putting myself in the line of the subject matter, so I kind of there's no choice but to go to just give people a little bit more.
So you mentioned that you went to the lads and you told them the themes of the ideas that you wanted to discuss for the album and throughout the songs on this record. Can you remember what you said to them? What was the idea that you had? Is it a concept album that was the main idea behind it?
I could probably find it for you if I mean, I'm sure no one
A
listening to
literal
this
email, is it?
wants to. Just a WhatsApp message. Let me see. Okay, so what did I say? The working title of so this was sent the 29th of August 2023, and I texted him before the trip, and I said the working title of the album is The County Star, and for me that title brings together both Texan and Irish sounds and ideas. It could be a sheriff's star, it could be the name of a bar in Dallas or in Derry, and it's also the term that we use for a star Gaelic football player in Ireland, which is kind of a character I've been trying to go into for some of the songs and could play a part of a loose concept for the album. And then I just talk about the different type of sounds that I wanted to kind of like encapsulate within that. But yeah, that was the thinking going into the sessions.
I didn't know that you had that you were born in Texas. Is it Houston you were
Yeah,
born?
Houston, yeah.
You were there like for 5 minutes sort of thing before you moved to Ireland by the sounds of it, is it?
Yeah. My parents would have moved over to America in I suppose the late 80s. My father would have went there for work first, and I think he had I think my mom kind of went over a bit after, and then my sister and myself were both born in Houston then, and maybe when I was one we kind of moved back this side of the world. But yeah, so I've no, I've no memories or anything of Houston or of America generally, but it was always like my parents, they really lived that life over there, and so we've, so much amazing photographs at home of them, in the cowboy hats and the boots, and being at like rodeos and um, American football games, and yeah, I'd always have a little pair of cowboy boots and stuff that like I would just. My father said I just like lived in, no matter what I was doing, I was wearing them. So there was always this idea of a kind of different world beyond like Portlaoise that we kind of knew, and that my parents had lived and that we had kind of been a part of, but didn't really have access to.
Is identity anything that comes up with you, like in terms of, am I American? Am I Irish? Like, do you have an American passport? Anything like that?
Yeah, I've got an American passport, yeah, but how could I identify as American in terms of anything beyond that? I'm not a part of the culture like in any sense beyond that really.
What made you want to explore it? Is it just simply putting all these ideas together, putting them in the melting pot and see what comes out?
Yeah, I think so, and I think just kind of when I was I feel like I'm talking too much about this voice shit, but when I was kind of working out with that, I was just playing a lot of songs just like on the guitar and singing along with them. The type of stuff that I was kind of attracted to was a lot of old, like, I don't know, like Hank Williams and Towns Van Zandt and stuff like that, and just stuff that's really simple, but just is really amazing as well. Stuff that you can just play on a guitar and sing along with, and it doesn't need anything beyond that, like production wise necessarily. Like at the core, the song is really good. That production can enhance it and extra elements and stuff, but when you strip it down, it's like a really good song within. So it was already sounding a little bit like Americana-y to me or whatever, and I just thought this would be a cool way to kind of engage with those sounds while it's not like faking being like really of those sounds or from them. It's a way to put yourself in there, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you. I mean, that's the thing that strikes me from the very first listen of this album is just it sounds really, really big, and it does sound a lot. Like professional isn't the right word, but that kind of big band sound compared to Dog Person. It sounds like maybe it was intentional that that was the sound that you were going with the lads on that very first weekend after you sent that message.
Yeah, definitely. And like as I say, even if you take Dog Person and all, that was very much like it's nearly all kind of like beats that I'm kind of like singing on, like they're guitar-y and all, but they're kind of more beats than they are like a band playing or anything like that. Maybe bar like Emma or something like that. That song. How I've been performing since like 2017 or 2018 is like with my band, and it's always been a bit of a confusing one, I think, for especially around that time, people would come to the gigs and they would kind of get something like we'd be playing stuff that sounds like this album. Maybe they were expecting like to hear something that sounds like more like R&B or something like that. So this album is kind of just like catching up with the sound that we had been performing with for so long, and that was another reason why I wanted this to be like I wanted the album to have all live drums kind of, and just be it's designed to be played live as well, because that's what I'm primarily interested in kind of these days.
Just sticking with those early days, was it confusing for you figuring out what like Kean Kavanagh, the performer, the artist, actually was, or did you always know that it was going to be this kind of like indie rock, well, country rock kind of a sound now, or were you kind of like, am I a rapper? Am I hip hop? Am I doing this? Am I doing that?
Definitely never a rapper. No, that definitely never a rapper anyway. But yeah, on Dog Person or whatever, I was definitely just trying to figure out how to like produce and record songs for myself. I think I was always chasing, a sound that had like live drums, and that's why if you take like Emma off that off Dog Person, that was when I was like, fuck, like finally I'm close to what I've been like going for. Um, and but yeah, the rest of it, I was just trying to figure out how to just learning how to write and record songs, and yeah.
And the guy, tell me about the influence of the JA on you, on the music. I mean, you've got a little sample of the Sunday game music in there at
Mhm.
one point during the album. I mean, did you play when you were younger? I mean, were you the county star in your youth?
Could have been.
Coulda, shoulda,
No,
woulda.
yeah, yeah. No, like yeah, Gaelic football is like was my like first love. obsessed with it. Where I'm from, it's like, or it would have been the kind of at the heart of like our community anyway. Like all my family was very, very involved in it, and yeah, we just kind of lived for it. And it's something that I think when I like music, then I think at a certain point my interest just went totally to music, and I kind of like left it all behind for a little bit. I'm not sure if it was moving over to London or what it was, but I just started like getting kind of really interested in it again, and I think I was really thinking about how great a community it felt like we had in Port and that it's still there, but I was just really kind of missing home and just thinking about how it felt like I knew everyone in Port growing up, through that kind of prism of sport or whatever.
And so living over in London now, I mean, I know that they've got a team. They're nicknamed the Exiles, which I always think is a great nickname for the London GA team. I mean, do you go watch them? Is it just you're opening up GA Plus to watch the games? Are you still following along?
My housemate has GA Plus. He just told me this. It only costs like €7 or something. So I need to get on it myself, but I joined the football team here a few months ago because I was just like, I just really wanted to give it a try after so long, and yeah, I just figured if I didn't try now, I never would. So I've been playing like a very small bit the past few months, and just you know when I went out kicking football with my little brother John at Christmas time, and you know when they let cows out in the field in spring for the first time, and they just can't believe it. They're just springing around the place running. That's how I felt at Christmas time out on the pitch. I was just like, just felt so good to be wearing a pair of boots and having the ball in your hand. There's just, I don't know. I kind of forgot that part of myself a little bit.
Who are you playing with in London, and do you get a sense of the community that you talked about? You were searching for that and you've kind of found it now again?
I play for a club up in kind of just up, I guess it's Tottenham kind of area, called it Aerogue. Yeah, everyone's cool and definitely more chilled out than at home. So that's a nice element as well. It's less fanatical.
Let's talk about the visual side of things. You've got Peter McGann in a couple of videos. Is he just a pal? He plays, is it Pa the Hips Campion, this character who crops up across the video? I don't know, is he actually in the album as well, like the lyrics and stuff, is he?
No, not in the album, but yeah, it was kind of funny when once we'd kind of written his kind of like arc through the three videos, and it's just when we kind of watched the three videos back in a row, it kind of changed. I was like, damn, these songs could be about, they could be about his youth, he could be the character of these songs, like he could be the county star. So it was funny I don't know, I felt like I was kind of seeing it from like an outside perspective, which was kind of cool. Yeah.
The visual side seems really important. You worked with Kojaque on all of those videos, is it? And was it kind of like the artwork for the album as well was him too?
Yeah, so the videos were directed by Kojaque and Rob Bass, and then all the album artwork was shot by a fella, David Willis, and then Kev did the final kind of arranging and design for the album cover and all. But yeah, we'd work very closely together and everything pretty much.
Father Brown sounds kind of like the central song on the album, the key song on the album. It's almost like melding your dad's story of emigration with the migrant crisis in the Mediterranean. That sounds like a big kind of a big song for you to write. Was that, do you see that as the central track on the album?
Yeah, I think that one and a cowboy song, like they both land kind of back to back and together, but they're kind of the heart of the like character. They're definitely like very central to the album. I can't think of a better word to describe it, but yeah, it's just the center of it. Yeah.
You've got Ilum Pipes on Father Brown's. I think it's on another track as well. I think you've got Tin Whistle, you've got Fiddle as well. Is that again just something that you're thinking about while you're living over in London? Just this connection with Ireland, Irish music. I don't know if that was a big thing for you growing up as well as the Irish traditional music.
Yeah, we would have played like my cousin's family who live across the road from us would have been really into trad and like the Kyoto stuff and all of that sort of stuff. So um, we would have all grown up like playing in the what's it called? The my mind's going blank.
Flaz,
The
is it?
Flas, yeah, and stuff like competing in that, like guitar and bowron and stuff like that. That's kind of a lot of the stuff that would have been played at like parties and stuff in my family. On the album, then it's just a kind of a way of adding kind of just a sonic element that adds to the sense of place, like beyond just my accent or the stuff that I'm writing about. It's just something else that cements the kind of sense of place and like lets you know, right, we're in like Ireland in this within this story or whatever.
Do you play Irish music, traditional, now? Maybe.
If there's someone around to play with, I don't go to much sessions or whatever, but if I'm hanging out with someone who plays, I'll sit and jam with them. Yeah,
Just guitar, or
yeah, I play a bit of bowron as well, but I don't have one over here actually. I must get one. But yeah, mostly just like kind of rhythm guitar. Yeah.
do you miss living in Ireland? Are you enjoying living in London? I mean, I'm guessing the opportunities that it presents for music are like infinitely more. I mean, what's your relationship with Ireland at the moment?
Yeah, I definitely miss it a lot. I miss it. I miss it more than I think I miss living there, though.
The dream is better than the reality.
Yeah, yeah, or at least it seems that way. But I don't want to live over here forever, really, either. I do want to come back at some stage, but um, for now, it's just we have such a good community over here already. Like just over the past few years, there's just you know so many people have just got fed up with, say, living in Dublin or the way things have it, or the way it feels like things have kind of gone there, and we've kind of rebuilt a kind of bit of a great like Irish community over here. I feel like so. For the time being, I'm delighted with what we have kind of going over here.
When you come back over, say 4 gigs or just visiting friends and family, do you get a sense of that kind of resignation about the place that like it is a bit depressing, like rents are so high and shit and there's so much bad stuff going on? Do you get a sense of like there's a real complaining sort of thing going on in Ireland at the moment?
Is that something that you've picked up on, would you say?
I think generally it's just like just the cost of living, just the cost of rents, just the rental crisis, the housing
Yeah.
crisis. It doesn't go away, and people go away all the time. I mean, you're living in London. I don't know how related that is to the housing crisis over here, but I think it's just, man, times are so hard for young people in particular, and
Yeah,
and particularly people in the arts, in the creative arts, in music.
totally. And it's like, for what I was paying when I was living in Dublin, I always liked everywhere I lived and all, but in terms of, like just an example is that over here, I share a studio with some of my friends, and it's like, like an 8 minute cycle from where I live, and we're not like breaking the bank for rent, and we never had ever had like access to a studio whenever we lived in Dublin. It was always just like super small bedroom setups, and even that small thing makes such a difference to the work that you can create, when you have a bit more room to stretch out and like make noise. So I guess the difference is the quality that you're getting for the money that you're paying. Like it it just didn't feel really worth it at home anymore, because it's literally not worth the money you're paying for. It's yeah, it's insane.
Going back to our first chat that we had 4 years ago now, which is crazy to think it's that long ago, you said in that interview that writing lyrics is such a hassle. I mean, we've talked since about like you getting more personal and deeper. It sounds like this album is quite personal as well in various respects. Did you find writing the lyrics for this one a hassle? Did you enjoy the process a lot more?
No, I loved writing the lyrics for this album. I think I was definitely, as I say, I was still trying to figure it out back then, and I don't think I understood yet that it needs to be something. You need to, you have to find a way to make it enjoyable and not feel like, for it to feel playful and to fight like. I think even then, when I'm saying it's such a hassle, it's because I loved lyrics and I wanted them to be good, and I think I was very passionate about it, but it was a case of like, um it's like, why can't I turn this on when I want to, or there was just a bit of a blockage, but I really love it now, and I think I kind of understand the process a bit better, or understand how to make it like pleasurable to put words together and just find the fun in it.
Looking back over the album now, it's been out a couple of days. Congratulations, by the way,
Thank
on
you.
releasing it, first of all.
Cheers.
Looking back on that message that you read out earlier about what you wanted to achieve with the album, can you say, like, I did it? I set out what I wanted to do, and, I can say completely that I achieved what I wanted to do with this album.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what's been so satisfying. Even just the past 3 months with the whole visual side of everything is just, it's just slowly seeing. It's like, oh, amazing! It's turning out kind of like as I kind of dreamed it would, in terms of both the sound and how everything like looks, and the aesthetic of it. Kind of, it's funny how it all kind of comes together at the last minute. It felt like, but I'm buzzing now, to be honest.
Great. Congrats on the album. Thanks for chatting with me today.
No problem.
Best of luck with the release, with the couple of gigs you're playing, and the whole summer. Look forward to hopefully chatting to you again, maybe sooner than 4 years.
Yeah, yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. Cheers on.